A couple reasons. Number one, and you touched on it at the beginning part of the question, mentorship has always been a massive part of my journey. Jamie Tardy started me off day one. I brought her in. I invested in myself. And then soon after that, I've been having Lewis Howes as a mentor for me, who's had that experience of 5, 6, 7 years as a very successful entrepreneur. Now he's come in and we talk on a weekly basis. And again, I pay him $2,000 per month. So I'm investing heavily in myself to have the opportunity to utilize Lewis's great experience, great education, great knowledge in all the different ventures that I'm now creating. So that's been very powerful on so many levels, PJ, is to really have that mentorship, that focus, that goal. And I really will say that that's been a huge reason for my very quick ascent to the levels that I'm at now. But another massive reason too, and some people are big believers in this, some people aren't, but I just see it as a reality. Luck has a lot to do with everything. And for me, I was lucky in a lot of ways too. If I had had this aha moment 2 years earlier than I ended up having it, I probably would have gone about trying to do the same thing. But podcasting just wasn't hot back then. It wasn't like the thing. People didn't have smartphones. Everybody didn't have smartphones and iPads and tablets and Stitcher Radio and SoundCloud weren't out there doing their thing. And it probably just wouldn't have taken off. And I probably would have quit and I probably would have moved on. But my timing, just incredibly luckily, was pretty perfect, where I got on right at the beginning of this massive crest of a podcast frenzy, and really showed people the way that by producing valuable free content, by bringing successful guests on your show and then turning around and leveraging their audience, you can build an audience. And my $250,000 launch for Podcasters Paradise, which is an ongoing 3-month launch now, is proof those 500 people and more people that are joining every day are wanting to start something like this and paying, the $997 it takes to get into Podcasters Paradise. So a lot of luck is involved with that. So investing in myself, PJ, working really, really hard, 65 to 75 hours every week, week in, week out, and getting lucky.
So, well, I don't think you got lucky. You timed yourself. I think that it's more than luck. I have, we always say luck is laboring under correct knowledge. You looked at a lot of what the industry was doing, you identified a gap and you acted quickly on it. I think that's definitely a lot more than luck. It's a lot of your hard work. So,
well, on that point, PJ, and I really thank you for that, I actually define luck as when effort meets opportunity. And I could have, again, to kind of go back to my original story, I could have put the same amount of effort in 2 years prior and just not had the same success because the opportunity wasn't there. So for me, the luck was that I put forth incredible effort, but then the opportunity was also there that, again, you're right, I totally saw, but I had that aha moment at the right time in my life.
No, that's a very fair thing. And I think, one of the underlying themes here is mentorship seems to have played a huge role in your life, right? It's very clear that, you've reached out to the right people and you kind of identify the people that would be the ones helping you and that would have common values and beliefs, and they are helping you. The real question is, for a lot of young entrepreneurs today, everybody wants a great mentor. I'm sure everybody wants a great mentor. And you kind of identify for us how you approach your first, few mentors and what really worked. But can you share with us what is, especially because, in your case, you're willing to pay for mentorship, and yet you're someone that people should pay for mentorship, and they are paying in a different way for mentorship. So how do you make the best of the opportunity once you're in? How do you make mentorship work for you? What are the rules of engagement, if that makes any sense?
It's a great question, and I can give you a really wonderful example because with Lewis Howes, to be honest with you, he actually approached me and he said, John, I'm hearing great things out in the universe about you. People are talking very highly about you. I see the platform you've created. I'm impressed. I know that I can take you to the next level. I'm not trying to sell you, but I'd love to sit down and have coffee with you. And Lewis is somebody that I admired and respected a ton. And I knew that he was well worth whatever he was going to quote me for a mentorship. So I happily had coffee with him. I sat down, we had a great conversation. And he said, well, listen, here we go. This is my plan. I'd love to bring you on. It's $2,000 a month. We'll talk twice a month for an hour. And, we'll, converse via email or XYZ, and you can utilize me and I'll get you to where you need to be. And I said, well, Lewis, listen, I'm honored by your offer and I want to take full advantage of it. But for me, I know a mentorship is really going to work this way. And I knew this, PJ, because I had been mentoring people for a number of months at that point. And I had tried that first model of like an hour call every 2 weeks, and it just wasn't enough. So I switched my model to my mentees to a weekly call, just 20 minutes, action-packed, no wasted time, email access in between on a reasonable level. That was working for me and my mentees. And I knew that that's how I operated. So I broached that with Lewis. I'm like, I want to take you on as a mentor. I know it'd be unbelievable. I want to invest in myself. You're well worth what you've just asked for and more. Can we, instead of an hour every 2 weeks, meet for 20 minutes once a week? I can promise you it won't be 21. It'll be 20 minutes. I'm going to come prepared. I'm going to send you a recap of what my week was like last week, the week before, and what I'm looking to get out of this current call the day before. And we're just going to get in and we're going to crush it together. And that's what worked for me as a mentor. And I knew that was what would work for me as a mentee. And I think for people that are out there, when you're looking to invest in yourself, realize that, know what works for you, explain that to your mentor. And if they're really the right mentor, they'll realize that that is what's best for you because you know yourself, and utilize that moving forward.
So in identifying who is best for you, was there any points do people have to be in the same industry? Was there any advice you can give someone when they're searching for who the right mentor is? How to identify the right person? I mean, Jamie and Lewis are both individuals who are in the online space and are kind of in a similar line of work, but is that what the attraction was?
Yeah, I think if you want to hit a home run, you should really be finding a mentor that is in your space, that totally gets it, that has relationships and connections that you can't right now make yourself. Jamie was able to introduce me to Pat Flynn, to Derek Halpern, to Michael Hyatt, and Michael Stelzner, people who I would have taken a long time to get to know because they are just really successful entrepreneurs who, only have so much bandwidth. So that is a huge part of what a mentor can do, is really open doors up, give you, great guidance and give you great connections. So I think it is really important to find a mentor that knows your industry, that's in your industry, that can connect you to others in your industry. You can definitely find a great mentor that's just a life coach in general that can help you with mindset and clarity, and that'll be fine. Like I know, for instance, like Lewis has a couple mentors, one just for like mindset and clarity and stuff, and then one for more online business specific. And he invests in both. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. But if I had to choose one of the two, I would take my route and just say, find a great mentor in your niche.
Very, very cool. Now, is there any way for you, because obviously there's a lot of, forgive me for saying, like BS coaching programs out there and everything else. Like, how do you filter through that, right? Like, especially at the beginning for you anyways, because now it's easier because you're well connected in the industry. But for someone new who's a new entrepreneur, what would you recommend they do in order to know kind of like, is this person really going to help me, or is this just another part of their revenue model?
Right. It's a great question. So, there's no perfect solution to that. For me, like I just really felt like I knew Jamie, being a listener for a couple of years of her podcast. And I knew that it was very important for me to have a cup of coffee with her face to face and really feel that out and see if that, that connection was really there. And I did the exact same thing with Lewis. We sat down and had a cup of coffee. Now, obviously that's not possible in this world to always have a cup of coffee with somebody face to face. But I mean, look what we're doing right now, PJ. We're on a Skype chat. It's just you and me. And obviously anybody that's watching, but if it was just a regular Skype video, then, we could just be having a conversation and saying, hey, I have my coffee, you have your coffee. Let's take 15 minutes. Let's go through, what this relationship would be. And let's see if it would work. And any mentor worth their grain of salt will have that initial 15-minute consultation because you're investing enough in them that they are willing to take that time out of their day. They're not just plugging you into some system. And B, like I insist for myself to have that 15-minute conversation with each one of my mentees to make sure that I am the right mentor for them. I'm not the right person to show them how to build a website that converts. Like I'm the best person to show them how to launch a podcast that gets them on New and Noteworthy. Like that's me, that's my niche. And people that want that, I can crush it for them. So I sit down with them. I explain to them exactly what my program is. The 20-minute calls, a reasonable email access. I get feedback from them. If they want to make some tweaks, some adjustments, again, they know themselves best. If it feels right, then I'll do it. And then we move forward and we schedule our first real mentorship starting point.